Okay, recording's going.
All right.
Is it though? Yeah, it is. Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, we're good there. All right, here goes, everyone. Thank you for being here. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show. It starts in 3, 2, 1.
Just went to move it with a tractor, and all of a sudden I was digging. Just went down a little deep, and the tractor just stopped. Like, man, what is this? Well, I ended up digging some more and got to the hood of it. This is a car.
You're in a rut with a bad habit.
The morning stream, 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 the morning stream,
The morning stream. It's alive. It's alive.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the morning stream. My name is Scott Johnson. That guy right there is Brian Ibbett, and we are happy to be here. Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Oh, man.
I'm waving.
Okay.
For the people who can see me. Hi.
Great. Oh, my gosh, dog. My dog wandered in here, and she's never in here right now. What are you doing? Okay. She's hoovering everything because she thinks there's food. There's no food in here.
Oh, what have you dropped recently, Scott? Is there Cheez-Its in the carpet? Are there,
No.
is there
It's all hardwood, and by the way, okay, don't eat that. There's a bowl of spent sunflower seeds. Those are not for you.
spent?
Yeah,
Those sunflower seeds have been spent.
See, look, a whole bowl of them.
Yeah,
I know.
that's great. You have a spoon.
I know, it is
Why do you have a
creepy.
spoon in your bowl of
I-
spent sunflower seeds?
I don't know. I think something else was in there before, and then I just used it. All right, go upstairs. Be off. Be gone.
Yes. Good thing Nick isn't around anymore to get the blame for empty bowls of leftover food left all over your basement.
Yeah, heaven forbid that he was the target of our ire.
I think we see where the problem was.
So we had a weird thing yesterday. Kim had to rush down there. It was during the show. I didn't know about this. But while we were recording, she had to rush downtown to give Nick his backup keys because he locked himself out of his apartment. And that's a total Nick thing to do, by the way.
It's also a total mom thing to do, like to have a backup key for her son's apartment
Yep.
that she could run down there if he gets locked out of his apartment.
Yep, totally. So she rushed down there, gave him the other key. That key didn't work, so the landlord gave him a bum key.
Bum key?
Bum key. So then Nick had to basically break into his own window.
Oh no!
But it was easy because he had cracked it open that morning a little bit because it was hot in there. And so it was open a little bit already, so he could
so
get
he
in.
didn't have to break anything.
Right, just had to get in,
But now he realizes how easy it is to get into his
Yeah.
apartment. Hey, good news, bad news situation.
Yeah, you learn a little something along the way, I guess. But
Doesn't he doesn't have roommates who could have slid him a key that,
so he tried that. There are 9 people in that place, 8 plus him, and none of them were there, which is a little weird because maybe some of them have jobs deemed essentials. I know some are just students,
Sure.
so I don't know why they weren't there, or they weren't answering. So it's possible that they were just sleeping like bums. So I don't know, but it was it's a decent size. It's not an apartment building. It's I don't know what you call it.
Hostel?
No,
What is it? I mean,
it's
9
like
people in this place.
It's a multi-floor. I don't know what
Is he in the Hype House, Scott? Does he live in Hype House?
It's not a hype house. It's nothing like that. And it's not a townhouse, but it's like that, and it's old, but it's like a quadplex. There you go.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there you go. It's not like a normal apartment building type thing, but
Interesting.
anyway, they are not all in the same apartment.
So
they are in
so
9
they have
apartments.
different keys.
Yeah.
Only how many people in his direct living quarters?
Right, correct. There would have been. Oh, that's the other thing is it had they even
that
come
was
to.
a question.
Oh, what'd you
That was a
ask it
question.
again?
How many people are in his direct living quarters that would have a key?
He has 3 people in his apartment. So those 3 people. I'm sorry. Is it 3 plus him or 3 including him? I don't remember. It might be 3. It might be 4. But none of them answered, and they're the only ones with keys. So.
Oh, Carter says it's a duplex. Okay, a duplex.
Oh, is
sure.
it a duplex? Hold on, Carter. How many people are in his place? Are there 2 people in there or 3? There got to be.
Maybe we could just get Carter to do the show because she will provide the factual information.
Yeah, she could just call in every morning and just take care of this.
Corrections from
That'd be fine. That'd be
Tina.
all right.
Tina be able to do the same thing for me. All right, Tina, give me the let's correct everything that Brian said.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know anything, but she knows things. All right. So I fell off the wagon last night, and
Oh no,
I'm not a drug addict.
No, but you pounded down a fifth of whiskey.
Nope,
There's now
not the
next
alcohol.
to the empty bowl with a spoon of sunflower seeds. There's an empty bottle of Fireball on the floor.
No, I don't wish, but no, that wasn't it. So it wasn't sugar either. It wasn't me eating a bunch of sugar or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just getting this uncontrollable urge to eat hot, spicy ramen at 9 p.m.
Oh, which is outside of your fasting time.
Yeah, it's
Or
my
if it-
window. My window
it's
is
in your fasting time. Yeah.
my window is 11 to 7. That's when that's when meals can happen, and anything outside of that is it's meant to be a no-no. But last night I justified it by saying, "It's a pandemic. We're trapped in here, and I can do what I want with my time." So I went in the kitchen and I got one of these like authentic. We buy them at the Asian market. These like hardcore ramen mix things, and they're still powder and
Does it still
stuff.
add hot water? Dump the packet.
It's still that.
Yeah.
It's still that, but it's nicer stuff and it's bigger.
Is it the Hong Shim?
No, it's a brand. It's a brand I couldn't tell you because it's all in Japanese. I can't actually read it.
Okay.
There's no English on it. Anyway, it's very good, but it's spicy and whatever. It's fine, and it tastes like the real thing. And even a little packet with the veggie things in it, when that stuff hits hot water, they become like actual puffy little mushrooms and
nice.
working.
Do you get that weird flat disc that's got a red it's a white flat disc with a red spiral on it?
No, that's not in there, but I know what you're talking about. I've seen that
Yeah.
before. Those are weird. I don't trust
They
it.
are weird. I don't know what that is. I eat it every single time, and I
Yeah.
get it in the regular places, the ramen places as well. Is that tofu? Is it just colored tofu?
Maybe
that's
maybe it's tofu.
sliced.
Yeah, maybe. I'd never thought about
but
that. Deconstituted or dehydrated tofu disc.
It just says those are called peppermints. They're not. It's not a Starlight Mint, Andrew.
It's not that kind of swirl, and it's not sweet.
Yeah, I don't know what those are, but I eat them every single time. And whether it's the reconstituted dry one or at a regular ramen restaurant, some of those have it as well. I have no idea what that thing is. I assume there's nothing in nature that looks like that. So I assume it's like a prepared tofu thing with a little spiral in it.
Probably.
Fish cake?
Fish
It's
cake.
fish cake?
Could be fish cake. Yeah.
Those are two words I don't think belong together.
No,
Well,
they
I guess
don't.
they kind of do. Crab cake belongs
Crab
together, so
cake
fish
belongs, but fish cake, that doesn't sound good to me. There's no appetizing sound to the fish cake word. It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But I would eat a crab cake, no problem. Bringing that on.
Yeah, fish cake.
Fish cake. You want some fish cake?
Like that. It's like that old George Carlin routine where he goes into the fridge. I don't know what I want, but I'm hungry. Oh, what's in there? There's something in there that I can't identify. It might be meat and it might be cake. It's meat cake.
That's a great album.
It really is.
Maybe
yeah.
his best, I think. So anyway, it was really good, but don't do that at 9 p.m. because it is
No.
legitimately hot, like super spicy.
The spiciness right before bed is a bad idea.
Yeah, that
so
was
what?
a
Tell me
no-no.
about your nutty dreams, Scott.
I had all kinds
what
of
were your
weird
crazy
dreams. You were in one of them, but only in a minor role. So we were.
I was a supporting actor.
Yeah, for some reason
Yeah.
we were hiking, but it was up the side of a building. And
Oh, sure.
But we were just wearing hiking boots, and it was like we were walking like Batman Robin style from the 60s.
Right.
It was
Rope
really
or
weird.
just walking up the side.
Just
like,
walking up the sides. And for some reason, it was my buddy Darren and I that were doing the hiking. And then every few windows, one would open and you'd be in there. And you'd just kind of look out and go, like just kind of make a face or whatever.
Was I dropping plants on you and every once in a while you'd stop and go for it.
Yeah, go for it. I used to love that game so much. Oh my gosh. Crazy Climber, you guys. If you don't know what Crazy Climber is, you missed a great arcade experience. Brian and I know. We know.
Feels like that's something that could come to the Switch with your dual joystick
Oh yeah, just
operation. Yeah.
Yeah, that would work. Anyway,
Because you didn't have any other controls on that game. We're just dual joysticks.
yeah, there were 2 joysticks on the. I remember the sit-down version. You would play with your hands down, like,
Sure.
Because they stuck out from the panel. They weren't up like this, so you would go up and down like
Right.
this flatly. And
Right.
then in the arcade stand-up version, you held them like normal joysticks, and it was weird because your skill sets were different, or at least
Totally.
it felt like it was different when you were using them. Anyway, if you haven't played Crazy Climber, it's pretty great, and also maybe it's bad and we just don't remember it because we thought it was good then. It may be really bad, Brian, is what I'm getting at.
Pooping vultures or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it was bad.
Maybe it wasn't very good. Anyway, so what was the point? So yeah, dreams all night, weird dreams, made no sense. Don't do that. Recommend against it. About 4 a.m., the hot farts came, and boy, howdy, did I make my room a place Kim wouldn't want to be. So just
Turned it into the hot box, huh?
I kind of did. I feel a little bad about it, but in some ways I don't regret it because it was very good, and I probably have another one like tomorrow or something. But I won't eat it at 9 p.m.
Eat it at 7 or
Yeah.
6:45. 6:45. So you've got enough time to consume it. Be done by the time the clock strikes 7 and
Yeah.
your pumpkin or your chariot turns into a pumpkin.
Exactly. I'm not laying, horizontal and having it just permeate through my body like like the freaking Horta in there. It was gross.
Yeah.
So that was fun. We got an email here that I am happy to answer here, even though it's more of I guess it's a me question, but we talk about Fred and Ken on the show a lot, so we may as well bring
Sure.
it up here. This is a canned question from Jeff. He says, "Sir, I have a situation I believe you are well positioned to offer some expert advice in. I was rummaging through my pantry and stumbled upon a can of creamed corn. It's a week from its expiration date. Is there anything I can do to help to achieve sentience? Slather it with CBD oil? Slather myself with CBD oil? As the experts do." As the expert, do you have any advice? It's getting a bit lonely, and I could use a roomie for quarantine. I await the expiring with great anticipation. P.S. I'm assuming Fred and Can is a poorly disguised autobiographical cartoon. I'd be sorely disappointed if you tell me it's entirely fictional. Okay. I'm not saying Kim's the Can, but I am saying she's the voice of reason quite
Yes,
often.
Right.
And so
And the can does provide that voice of reason
It does.
to Fred. Yes.
it does. So maybe, without really meaning to, maybe I am expressing a bit of that. I don't know. Like this has been an interesting process. My original plan was, it's just this guy with his can and hilarity ensues. But as we've had real life things happen around us, I've found myself writing for that. And so the comic itself is reflecting, our current times. And as a result, I think what I'm learning is I am more like Fred than I thought. And I've always seen myself as a little bit together alone. Like I've always felt a little off and by myself my whole life. Weirdly. Don't really know how to explain it. This is more of a Wendy thing, but, I don't know. But I've always felt that kind of, I can be in a crowd of 500 people, but feel like I'm kind of on my own there, weirdly. And so in some ways, excuse me, the comic sort of expresses that in a weird way. And, it makes for an interesting hook because you got a can to talk to. But yeah, maybe Kim's the Can. I should say that quietly. She's right upstairs.
Maybe Kim's the can. That's
Maybe Kim is the
I'm
Can.
waiting for the flood of titles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Kim's the can.
Maybe Kim's the Can. That should be a good vote getter later in today's show. We also got an email from another Jeff. This is our friend Jeff Sire. We haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks. So it's good to hear from Jeff, a.k.a. Bronco from Bromanville, Ontario. He says this, Scott and Brian, in keeping with what... let me start over. In keeping with your what is my middle name conversation from Tuesday, I got it out. That was it. I finally got it. When I used to have to synchronize my iPod each morning to get my podcast loaded, I took the opportunity to rename my iPod. I called it the Titanic. So each morning when I plugged my iPod in, it would come up with this message: sinking the Titanic. Jeff Sire, Romanville, Ontario, Canada.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
That's very good. And I wonder, Tristan's phone is called the Titanic. Like, you know how you, when you get an iPhone, you name it so that you can identify it and where's my phone and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And his is called the Titanic. And it's funny because successive phones that he's gotten, I think it takes the name. Oh no, it still lets you name it, but he's kept the name.
Yeah,
And
if
I
you-
wonder if that's the reason, and I never knew it.
It'll automatically carry it forward, but it gives you a chance to change it while you're registering the new phone. So he probably
It's
just
also
kinda kept it.
probably what he, when he does the find my phone because I've lost it, it probably says searching for the Titanic.
Searching for the
which is-
Titanic, exactly. That's amazing. Mine is called Scott's Duke. No,
That's dude.
no reason. No, there's nothing about it. I don't know why I even did it. I just called it Scott's Duke to differentiate it from everybody's other names in the household at the time.
Mine is called Brixer.
Brixer's pretty-
BRI. So my initials BRI, and it's the 10R XR, but I added an extra X, so it's BRIXXR. Brixer.
Oh, so you'll change that. Next time.
When I get the
Okay.
when I get the 12 or whatever, I'm skipping the. I didn't get the 11. Got the
Right.
10.
Yeah.
I don't need the 11.
10R is still. I mean, I have the 11 now, but it's basically my 10R. The 10R is the best phone they. It's the best phone they made, in my opinion.
Really happy with the 10R.
Yeah.
So I'll have some play on a dozen, when the 12 comes out and I get one of those.
All right, and you'll say so that'll be called Brian. No, sorry, it'll be called Bricks. Nope.
Brixer's dozen.
I knew there was one in there. I just had to
Yeah.
get there.
Trixie Brixie. XII.
And no, my cough has nothing to do with COVID-19. Everybody, calm down. I just have I have morning throat. That's all.
Morning throat.
Morning
Hey, my
throat.
dad, the former doctor, former head of cancer treatment at MD Anderson and physicist, actually still does consulting. Turned me on to a don't turn me on thing, but told me about a cool app that is put together by the Massachusetts General Hospital and the King's College of London, and it's basically an app that you log into every day, takes a minute, and you say how you're feeling.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
what it does is it tracks potential outbreaks in your local community. The more people do this app, the better. But it's like an official. This is not just like a hey, tap your smiley face right here.
Yeah.
This is actually really, really cool. I'll put a link in the.
What's the name of the app?
It is called COVID Symptom Tracker. And you just put in there how even if you don't feel 100%, but it's like I don't think I have COVID. I got the sniffles today. You put that in there too, and it's like, all right, well, here's symptoms that are happening in your area. Maybe it's related to this.
My gosh, there's a ton of COVID-19 apps already. Wow.
Here, I'm gonna put a link in Discord.
Yeah, I found it here. It's
Go
a
right to it.
COVID symptom tracker from Zoe Global Limited. Added questions about blood pressure. Okay.
And it's total privacy. You don't have to put any information in there. They actually replace your local information with a code so that even if someone were to get into it, they would only see codes for everybody. They wouldn't see like a list of.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is cool. Take 1 minute each day to help fight the outbreak in your community. Join 2,226,605 people contributing. Tell me more.
Stanford University School of Medicine is working with this. Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, Massachusetts General Hospital, King's College London.
Yeah, Stanford University School of Medicine. And the ZOE, which is what? The Zoe Brings Bacon.
Yes, exactly. It's the Zoe Brings Bacon. I don't know what the ZOE stands for.
I don't know what that is.
But here's the deal. If my buddy Don were to send me this app, I'd say, okay, probably not. But the fact that my dad sent me this and, he's in the medical industry, it's like, okay, this seems like a good thing.
All right, cool. Yeah. And it's also good to know that because there's so many other apps in there. Who knows if any of those are good for anything? There's just a lot of symptom trackers that are just, who knows what the point is. But if this is
Right.
being used for real data, real use, whatever, that's cool. I like it.
It's really cool.
All right. Awesome.
And to answer your question, Dice Tomato, I'm paying for the user data out of my own pocket.
The user data.
I'm buying all of this, yeah. Dice Tomato threw up his hands. Well, who's paying for this user data? Who's stealing your information?
Oh,
So
we're
I'm
going
saying,
there,
it's
are
me.
we?
I'm buying it so that I can specifically target cover songs to different areas and make fat wads of cash.
Yeah.
Dice Tomato.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my whole goal.
No. I knew the conspiracy was true before it even started. So, Dice Tomato, he's just bringing true.
I
He's
think all the organizations that we just listed, Stanford and Massachusetts General and all that, are the people who are buying this information, using this information.
they're buying this so that you are in their butts forever. That's how that's going to go.
Yes. You are in their butts forever.
You're in their butts forever, everyone. All right, we have gotten to the point of the show where we can now share the latest, most important breaking news of the day, and here it is.
I don't watch the news.
Time for the news, brought to you by.
Today's episode is sponsored by There Will Be Dungeons Teas from Phoenix Pearl Tea. To celebrate 100 episodes and 2 years of great shows, we're offering 20% off any There Will Be Dungeons Teas with the promo code TWBD100. That's TWBD, There Will Be Dungeons 100, TWBD100 at checkout. Just go to phoenixpearltea.com/TWBD to check it out.
Might I recommend? What's the name of my favorite one? My brain just went blank. Oh, Pixie Blush is my favorite.
Oh, really? I haven't had that one. I've had the Harvest Moon. Of course, I love the matcha. Oh
yeah,
such
the
good
matcha
stuff. And
teas
right
are
now,
all good.
This is a good time to support Gwen and her tea shop because I imagine it's probably not terribly busy, but probably got a lot of foot traffic with people coming into her store.
Mhm.
So this is a really good opportunity to help her out and buy some tea from her.
In fact, as far as I know, no foot traffic because it's banned there.
It's shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Feet
all-
are banned.
Yeah. So if you like a good tea in the morning, she's got you covered. All right. Let's now do the news. The UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship. Have you heard of them? Are you
I've
familiar?
heard of the UFC. Yes.
Okay. You know what they're all about. They're just about the punching and the kicking and the throwing each other on the ground and the whatnot.
Yes.
Right?
And the whatnot.
Yeah. They are
Punching and the kicking of the flavin'.
they are getting a private island to hold their weekly fights amid the coronavirus. It's actually a couple days old, this news, but we kept missing it in the show, so I'm going to tell you about it now. If you didn't fully grasp how desperate Dana White is to run UFC fights amid the coronavirus pandemic, you will now. Not only is UFC 249 set to happen on April 18th, which is 9 days from now,
Yeah, week from Saturday.
but White says he is getting a private island so he can run fights every week, including with international fighters who currently cannot enter the U.S. because of travel restrictions. He says this: I'm a day or two away from securing a private island. One would assume that by now he's got it because this is about 2 days ago. I have a private island that I have secured. Okay, that's some weird doublespeak. Here's what he says again. Let me give you the full quote. I'm a day or two away from securing a private island, period.
That's sentence one, yes.
And it's all in the same quote, period.
Right.
I have a private island that I've secured.
Yeah, that seems like I think I'm gonna pick up the new I'm gonna download that new No Man's Sky update. By the way, I've got that No Man's Sky update and I really like it.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing to say. That's like somebody else did this the other day and it blew my mind. It was within like 10 minutes. Oh, never mind. It was a Trump thing. He said they were going to stop sending money to the World Health Organization, and then 15 minutes later said we're thinking about it. I'm like, well, you just said you were, and now you're just thinking about it. Like,
because he verbal vomit.
Yeah.
Let me retract that. Well, I'm not going to retract it. I'm going to double down.
Yeah, let me double down. Double down.
Yeah.
Double down sounds good, even though it shouldn't be a thing I want. All right. So, sorry, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, great. So private island, nothing can spread. No viruses can spread on a private island.
No, that's the rule of private islands. No viruses spread at private islands. Yeah.
So even if you're not showing symptoms, as we found out, you can have COVID for several days before you even start showing symptoms, right?
Yeah.
So do they go into a temporary airlock facility and hang out there for a week? And then if they're fine, then they come to the private island? Because it seems like a private island is just another way you could probably spread this if one person has it.
Well, if it takes 12 to 14 days to incubate and you're not showing symptoms, and some people are never symptomatic, they just spread it to other people who then get it and have it. There's nothing in this math that works. Nothing about his plan works.
There really isn't, yes. But it's private is what he wants to stress. Well, it's a private island, and that's going to solve the problem.
Yeah, everything's fine if you do it in private. Says here
It's
we're
basically UFC's Fire Festival is what we're looking at here.
exactly. Then he goes on to say, which also contradicts I'm a day or two away from securing it. He says, we're getting the infrastructure put in now. Okay, well, which is it? Anyway, so I'm going to...
And I'm 2 days away from getting the infrastructure put in.
He says, I'm starting to do the international flights, too, with international fighters. I won't be able to get international fighters, all of them. Wait. He literally just said...
We're actually watching a wrestler with the blue screen of death who has to keep getting rebooted.
Yeah,
And,
what is going on here? So he says, I'm also going to start the international flights too with international fighters. I won't be able to get international fighters, all of them, into the... Oh, okay. I shouldn't have stopped there, but man, you really set me up for what to expect here, buddy. He says, so to get them into the U.S., so I have a private island. I'm going to start flying them into the private island and start doing international flights from there. Something's wrong with him. Somebody unplug him. Plug him back in.
He really likes the phrase private island. Like he feels like that's the solution to the world's problem right now is private island. Private island.
Yeah, private island. All of it.
Yeah.
He has yet to discuss the location of it. USPN reported it would be somewhere in the West Coast or off the West Coast. White says UFC is setting up shop at the first venue for 2 months and will be pumping out fights every week before moving to the island. Okay, so they'll do that on the coast then.
It's going to come out. I don't really have a private island. I just installed Catalina on my.
Then he has 1,000 islands after the Catalina. Get it? Because they're both dressings.
Yeah,
nice job.
island dressings.
Let's see. Despite all the risks, White insists everybody will be safe. Quote, we have all our own planes and everything. Again, okay, I'll keep reading. Everybody's going to be pre-tested and tested. We're going to make sure that 100% healthy athletes, healthy athletic commission people, healthy judges, referees, my production people, everybody there is going to be healthy. We're going to make sure everybody's going to be safe before, during, and after the fights. Good luck with that, dude. That's not how it works. Not how it works.
We're going to have all of our own planes and everything. Everything's going to be pre-tested and tested.
I didn't want to say who he sounds like, but you're not wrong.
Yeah.
He kind of sounds like that, doesn't he?
We're really increasing our safetiness. To fight the silent killer.
Chinese virus.
Chinese virus.
Anyway, so that's a thing. That's a thing going on.
Jeannie mutes when I do. She says, it's Brian's impression is so good I have to mute when he does it.
It's really good.
You just watch the screen and then watch when I stop doing it. Silent virus.
It's when you do that, like over that thing he does, which is like this
we
ridiculous
have
over
all
the
of
top.
our own planes and
I hate that. So
everybody's getting except when he does that, he's like reading from a script. You know, it's like
yeah, I hate it. I hate it and love it at the same time. It's just it's a conflicted feeling I have in my heart about it because I like when Brian does it, but I hate that it exists. All right, here is a
maybe we need electrolytes. Maybe that'll solve our problem.
that'll solve
Electrolytes.
all of our problems. All right, here's a deal. A story that we're used to having on the show that's not necessarily COVID related, or is it?
It's more friend and can related, really.
It kind of is. A woman was assaulted with SpaghettiOs.
No. That's not what the headline says.
Yeah, it says woman assaulted. Oh.
One key word in the middle of that.
Yeah, it matters, actually. Woman assaulted man with SpaghettiOs.
There we go.
There you go. A Florida woman, of course.
That's also important.
When are they not? Is facing a felony domestic battery charge after allegedly clobbering a man with a can of SpaghettiOs. A blow that left the victim with a laceration, large one, on his head, according to cops.
Oof.
Yeah.
That man was Chef Boyardee.
Yep. Take that, Boyardee. Chef Boyardee.
Chef Boyardee.
Do they ever make anything good? They don't, do they?
No.
There's no such thing as a good. Like, is there a historical moment way back in time where I could find out who the real Chef Boyardee was? And he was good, and then they bought his name and then just made shit for it. Like, is that what happened? That's probably what happened.
The guy that you see on the label, is he the real original Chef Boyardee, or is he just an actor or like a model?
like a fake mascot? I don't know.
I'm looking to see if there really was a Chef Boyardee.
JC Calhoun's not happy because he.
Oh yeah, here we go. Hector. Excuse me, Ettore Boiardi.
It's a real guy then.
Known by the anglicized version, Hector Boiardi was an Italian-American chef, famous for his brand of food products. So
Okay.
he was born in 1897.
I mean
to
that.
Giuseppe and Maria Maffi Boiardi.
But what's the recipe for liquid orange?
Right, exactly. How, is there a way that I could puree a tomato so fine, so hard, that it loses all flavor or consistency? Or
Oh wow, you guys in the chat are right. It is the plot of Ratatouille. I didn't think about that. Basically.
Is it really?
Well, yeah, because they're basically taking that chef and then trying to commercialize him, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
It's totally true.
Or he was
Boiardi.
dead though.
Yeah, he died in 85, Chef Boyardee.
No, I mean in the movie, the chef guy was a ghost the whole time, right? Wasn't he just a ghost? And he would like talk to the rat in ghost form.
I think so. It's been a long time since I've seen Ratatouille. As a matter of fact, I think I've only seen Ratatouille once in the theaters, and I haven't seen it since.
Oh, that's worth seeing again. It's good.
one of the few Pixar movies that I've only seen just the one time. Actually, I don't think I've seen Up since the theater.
Well, Up
Sit
is
next to
Up
Reggie
is,
from AIE crying his eyes out.
yeah. Up is just there to make you sad.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, that's its
That's
whole.
what I
job.
hear. That's what I hear. Onward is just there to make you sad, but I still want to see it.
Man, Reggie, I haven't talked to Reggie in so long. Have
I
you
know,
heard
me
it?
neither.
I mean, you've heard Hide in Her Hair of Reggie.
No,
Wonder where he's at. What's he doing? They had that little kid. Hope they're all right. Should be okay. Just haven't heard from him.
They're in
Yeah.
Breckenridge, right? I should. Yeah, I'll
They're somewhere in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I like those guys. All right. Where was
All
I?
right.
Okay,
Chef
yeah.
Boyardee.
So according to the
Continue.
arrest affidavit, the victim told police after arriving home from the hospital Saturday afternoon, he got into a verbal argument with Sade Miranda, which is a fun combination of music makers, if you think about it.
That's right. It's taking your. I can't think of a Miranda Lambert song, but I'd obviously be something. Smooth Operator.
Smooth operator. Or you could do Lin-Manuel Miranda. You could do that and say it's.
Oh, there you go. She's not going to miss her shot.
Shot.
She's not going to miss her shot.
Yep. There it is. We found
There
it.
we go. All right, good.
The victim and Miranda, age 30, were sharing a room at a Travel Inn motel in Fort Pierce. Well, there's your trouble. Anyway, the victim's name was redacted as well as details as what prompted the fight. The man told the cops he sought to de-escalate the situation by gathering some of his belongings and stepping outside the room. That isn't really a de-escalation. That's just you getting out.
Yeah. Well, it's de-escalation. Like, oh, she looks angry. I'm going to leave my fine room at the Travel Inn Lodge in Fort Pierce.
I mean, no offense if anyone really loves staying there.
I'm going to walk across to the Waffle House that's guaranteed to be across the street.
Yeah.
And
Except they closed all
Don't hang
those,
out
right?
there.
Didn't those all get
Yeah.
closed?
yeah, they're all closed, right?
Like closed, I heard. Like down,
Oh,
gone.
like not even like closed for the coronavirus.
Well,
They're
you know what? I'm not sure about this. I don't want to give out bad info. Let's see. Waffle House.
yeah, temporarily closed is what I see.
Okay, I hope that's true. There's a lot of those.
There are a lot of those.
And
but
you know what I like?
when was the last time you've been to one, though?
Yeah, it's been like 10 years. Something like that. Last time I was in
Yeah.
Mississippi, I think. Because they're not out here. We don't have them in Salt Lake. So it's only when I get down to see Kim's family or something.
The Waffle House in Aurora still has takeout right now, but the Thornton and Littleton locations are listed as temporarily closed. By the way, their waffle. So they are selling their Waffle House waffle mix, and it sold out online in just 4 hours as of yesterday.
Oh, wow.
They put their waffle mix online to sell, and it sold out in 4 hours.
Oh, good. That's good. Let me ask you this. That reminds me of a thing. I'm glad you brought that up.
Sure.
Saw a news story where dairy farmers are dumping just like gallons and gallons and gallons of milk down a drain because normally in normal times they have a couple of customers that are like one or two customers that are huge restaurant chain
Oh,
companies.
the pilot. Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
are they
no
throwing
kidding.
that away? Why can't that go somewhere who needs it? Like, as they're people who were poor before this, by the way, that maybe could use your milk, and you're just literally pouring it down a drain. And somebody said, well, that's because they got to control markets, and it's all about price control or something. I'm like, I don't care, dude. You're throwing it away. Fine.
I mean, they have to pay for refrigeration trucks and stuff to haul it, but seems like that would be a good donation to make. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine somebody could step up and help them.
Someone will come
help them
over
get
there
milk to the people who need it.
Someone will come over there and like do the part of like getting it all and taking it somewhere. I guarantee someone will do that. You just have to say or something. I don't know how it
Elon
goes.
Musk will help get the milk to the people who need it.
Okay, well he's your man. Get out there. He got he get one of his new Tesla trucks.
Yes, which will be fine for hauling the milk as long as you don't throw a baseball at the window.
Yeah.
I saw Shkreli in the news yesterday.
Yeah, he's trying to he's using the COVID thing as an excuse to do an early release.
To get out. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm afraid of getting COVID, so let me out.
Yeah, sorry, not how it works, buddy. I mean,
sorry,
I guess,
supervillain, you've got to stay in Arkham Asylum for a little bit longer.
I mean, I guess it can happen because they are talking about commuting certain cases in some prisons and jails, but they're trying for the minor ones first, not like this guy who committed a huge freaking bank fraud.
You know what we ought to do is offer to sell him some vaccine at a ridiculously inflated cost. I think that'd be a good option.
I like it. I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
Speaking of the COVID money, here's the deal with your $1,200 in coronavirus. I can't say words. Coronavirus stimulus check. You know, the one we're supposed to get from the big stimulus package. It turns out that $1,200 and all it kind of varies, so it's not exactly $1,200. It depends on
how
where
much
you're
you make and
Right.
that sort of thing. Yes.
Like it's kind of actually a bummer because the poorest people get the least, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, really? I thought if you make under 75,000, you get the most. Like you get the full amount.
I thought it was. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. I still argue that it's not. It's not really gonna. I don't know. Maybe it will do something. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a lot to me. It's a lot in aggregate because you're giving 300+ million people potentially $1,200 cash or less, I guess, if they make more. And it will help. It'll help a little, but it's not going to fix. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. It seems like a weird Band-Aid. I think it's important, but I just don't know if it's enough. That's what I'm saying, I guess.
Sure.
I think more things like rent forgiveness and putting off people's deadlines.
That would be the big thing. It's like landlords should be, and mortgage companies I think should also be considering this. Like, let us skip 1 month of mortgage for this business going on. But
right.
what do they need to pay that they're not going to get that money for?
Yeah. It's
it all rolls downhill, Scott. Somebody's got to pick up that poop.
Con just says it's all the distractions from the bailouts that are coming. Yeah, probably. I think you're going to see some gnarly bailouts. You know who shouldn't ask for bailouts, by the way? And I can't believe they have the nuts to do it. Are these cruise companies? They're not even U.S. companies, and they did that to avoid taxation here. They became companies registered in like the Caribbean and small Caribbean countries and small Mexican states in the state of Mexico. They did that so they could avoid being taxed as U.S. taxes.
Yes.
But now they want U.S. bailout because I know you're suffering, but dude, that one really rubs my cheese the wrong direction, man. It really bugs me. Yeah. You're also not required. You figure it out or you go away. You're not an essential part of the fabric of the economy. You're just not essential. You just aren't. How can you make an argument that a cruise is essential? Do I want cruises to exist?
People need those cruises. What are those midnight buffets going to do? They're not going to eat themselves, Scott.
I don't know, man. Like, I already have a problem with giant corporate bailouts anyway because it just, we talk big talk about not being socialist, but it's a socialist move to bail everything out. It was that in 2008. It was that in 9/11. Some of the 9/11 bailouts that they did, and it's the same today.
We got to give the 40% of the money to the 60% of the workers.
It's like
we're doing 20% of the work.
Oh, he officially stepped down yesterday from the deal.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I hope? Here's what I hope. It's just my own private little hope. Okay.
Yeah.
So Biden, nobody's first choice, but he's the guy you got, right?
Right.
Biden runs. He gets Elizabeth Warren as VP, and then they hire Bernie as like healthcare czar. Because I think he actually has some really great healthcare ideas. Don't send me your emails. I don't want to get in arguments. Okay, I'm just saying it's better than what we got. And anyway, he's super passionate about it. And I think it would make Bernie people happy to have him directly involved in some way. Not just a pity position. I don't mean that. Like something meaningful.
Right. Well, yeah, a good meaty position. Yes,
Yeah,
agreed.
something meaningful.
And I think like what Biden should be doing. I'm sure he's already starting preparing for the debates. He needs to binge watch Comedy Central roasts.
Yes.
And be prepared in that way. That is the
Not be prepared to be the funny guy. Be prepared to know what it feels like to get bombarded with really shitty
exactly
stuff.
and be able to come back with
Yeah. You do. That's great, Brian. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
You gotta do more stuff like that.
Oh, Klobuchar would be another good choice for VP. That was the
Yeah, I
New York
like her.
Times, failing New York Times' suggestion for who they were backing were Warren and Klobuchar.
I like Klobuchar. She's cool.
Plus, I like Klobuchar.
Klobuchar. I guess her husband just recovered from COVID. I didn't know he had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how they all don't have it from all the hobnobbing and handshaking they did for so many months when they didn't know this was a thing. Because there's talk that this thing may have been here even late last year and people had it and didn't know it and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean, there were times that I felt kind of crummy that it's like, oh, maybe I got mild symptoms of COVID.
Yeah. Actually,
J.K. Grammer says, "How about Porter for VP? Billy Porter? I think he'd make a very fabulous VP.
Wait.
He'd be fabulous."
Who's Billy Porter? I don't know who that
Billy
is.
Porter is on that show Pose. He's been in all the, like, he's made appearances on the Grammys or the Oscars.
Oh,
Not a politician, an actor.
right. Okay. I don't know why I've never heard of him.
I don't think that's who J.K. Grammer is is referring to, but I can't think of another Porter that's in politics.
Yeah.
Oh, Katie Porter.
Katie Porter. Is that it? I don't know. I don't know who that is.
I don't know
either.
who Katie Porter is. I'm looking her up.
I don't know any of these people.
Oh, Safe Search.
Oh,
Just kidding.
yeah, flip that back over, Brian. Get
Just
moderate.
kidding. Just kidding.
Get moderate back on there, quick, ASAP.
American law professor, attorney, and politician serving as the U.S. representative for California's 45th congressional district since 2019.
Oh, I don't remember hearing her name in any of this
She
stuff.
seems too smart to be vice president.
Yeah, why would you want that job? I mean, it's an ugly thing no matter what you do. We just got to get that postulating zit that's in there now out of there. I don't care who it is. Dude, freaking George W. Bush could come back and I'll take him.
Yeah,
I'd take
yeah.
who would I take? Anybody. Anybody. I don't care who. All right. Hey, look at this.
I vote for a 24-pack of Charmin toilet paper for president. That's why
Ding.
that's my
Ding,
write-in.
ding. Oh, I got a good joke for you to play on your wife. You ready to hear this?
Sure.
Here's what you need to do. It's a toilet paper related joke. Here's what you do.
God, okay.
You go into so in the bathroom you get 2 rolls of toilet paper, assuming you have the luxury of having 2 rolls of toilet
Two
paper.
rolls? Ooh,
Yeah.
what am I, a Rockefeller?
Yeah, in these hard times if you have 2. And you put them on the lid of the toilet as if they're eyeballs. Okay? So the roll holes are facing out.
okay.
So it looks like a couple of eyes. And then you lift the toilet a little bit and you take a paper towel roll, the cardboard tube from a paper towel roll that's been spent. You just keep one of those tubes around. So it takes a little prep.
Yeah.
You stick that, lift the seat up a little bit and stick that in there so it looks like a big old stogie cigarette thing. And then here's the trick. You go into the other room and you say, Tina, get in here for the toilet smoking. I don't know what's wrong. There's something wrong. The toilet's smoking. And she'll freak out and go, oh my gosh, we got to go see what's going on. And she'll whip around the corner and she'll just see this dumb-faced toilet with a freaking fake cigarette sticking out of its mouth. And then you get to laugh. And then you film it and you put that on TikTok or some shit like that.
I was going to ask you, is this something you saw on TikTok? And actually, DJ Stengel beat me to it, but I was about to ask you, is this something you saw on TikTok?
It was totally something I saw on TikTok. Last night while I was digesting my hot soup, I was...
You're TikToking. At what point do you switch from the news fast over to a TikTok fast?
I don't know. You know what? I'm finding a lot of catharsis in TikTok because it's so stupid. It's just so
Plus,
stupid.
you're learning some sweet dance moves, aren't you?
Well, see, this is what's great about that app. It learns from your behavior what you want to see. I don't get dancing people ever.
Oh, you don't?
Nope.
Good.
I get funny, weird videos. I get funny fail videos. I get people playing tricks on each other and their own family and their COVID-19 stuff.
Is it a? I need to get better in my TikTok use. So as I'm watching something, if I don't like it, I swipe up to get to the next thing.
You get you keep going. So as soon as you see a thing you don't like, because what it does is the algorithm works on how long you stayed there.
Oh, okay. So immediately, like, nope.
Yeah,
flip.
just flick
Okay.
it. So if you see some girl going, like here's the funniest thing. I don't get dancers anymore, but the other day my niece showed up. Out of nowhere, I don't have anything that says
Really?
I'm related to her, and I looked at her, I see this blonde girl, and I go, she's familiar. How do I know her? And I look at the username, and she's doing one of the typical dances or whatever, and I look at the username, and it says, Anna something. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that is my niece, Anna. And she's got like
That's hilarious.
75,000 followers or something like that.
Wow.
And she's dancing. I'm like, that is weird. That it would be served to me.
Yeah.
I can only think
the odds of that coming up are pretty nutty.
it knows that if you see some Utah, or let's say you're in Colorado, you see some Colorado related one and you watch
Oh,
it
yeah.
all the way through, it starts to learn that he likes things. It doesn't know that you live there
Local,
necessarily.
regional.
Although
Oh,
iCore
okay.
is saying don't use it at spyware from China, but whatever.
TikTok is spyware from China.
I
now?
mean, they're
I know face swap or face app or whatever it was.
there's no easy way to say whether it is or isn't, because they opened
Sure.
this was on DTNS the other day. They opened a department in California that they call the Transparency something, and they let people go in there and see how they moderate posts and how they do their stuff, to just say, hey, look, we're totally open and whatever, and then they go over to Hype House and I don't know what they do.
I do want somebody to turn that what part of what you just said into a title. They're called the Transparency something.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. It was some weird name. But yeah, it's a Chinese company.
Okay.
TikTok's owned by a Chinese company, but I don't know why that would make everybody immediately assume that they were spyware. I probably need to read more about it.
Yeah. See, I'll be frank. That's the thing. He says, guys, everybody's taking your info. Just accept it, soak it in, it's done. Anyone who wants your data has already got access to it. It's over. Just enjoy TikTok.
Yeah.
I kind of am exactly in that place. I'm the most boring person data-wise. Like, you want my data? You want to hack into my webcam that's staring at my 3D printer? Fine. You can watch it print what's it print? A filament thing so that I can start using my smaller rolls of filament that I'm almost out of to make COVID masks, to make those little things that hold the transparency sheets. Because somebody linked me to some approved designs for masks where you just send them the masks and they slap the transparency sheets on there.
The plastic on there.
So
I've heard a
they
little
put
bit
the
about
plastic
that.
thing.
That's very cool.
Which is really just made from the transparency sheets you can get at Office Max.
Yeah, you just
Like,
buy regular old overhead
What do you
projector things, right? It's just those things. Yeah.
Exactly. But but not the but anyway, let them have that information. Let them watch my 3D printer go. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, so this article they posted in the chat has nothing to do with it. It says TikTok admits it suppressed videos by disabled, queer, and fat creators.
Oh no! Really?
I don't know how that's true, because I see a lot of gay and a lot of fat people stuff.
But do you see any fat gay people, Scott?
Oh.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to be an expert on this. But if you think that apps are looking at you while you're using them, I can't help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to say to you. All right. So bad news just happened.
Oh no!
Bad
news, everyone.
Carter just sent me a text, and I am really this is hitting me like a truck.
Oh, is she sick? Is she coughing?
No. It's my favorite.
Did she lose her key?
My favorite cartoonist illustrator of all time passed away today. Mort Drucker died. Now he was really, really old, but if you want to ask, hey Scott, who's your biggest artist inspiration in the world ever, It was
Right.
Mort Drucker. I mean, Mort Drucker was everything for me growing
Yeah.
up. He was everything. So I didn't know about this. Please tell me it wasn't him suffering with the disease or something. I hope he just died in his sleep or something. Let's see.
I'm
News.
looking to see.
Yeah, there it is. April 8th.
Does it say how?
It's so breaking that we don't know. He was 91, so it's pretty old. Doesn't say. I just love that guy, though. He's great. I freaking love him. And I don't.
We'll be keeping an eye on this story, but it'll be down in the very small part of the frame around the panels in that little tiny space at the bottom of the page. No, I know that's Sergio Aragonés.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'll do something today online. I don't know what, because that guy was just. I've always feared the day that he would pass away, but the thing is, the reason I fear it most is I never got. I really always just wanted to have a chance to meet him, and he doesn't do cons. Hasn't for.
Right.
20, 30 years. I wasn't doing them back then, so there's never like an opportunity to do it, but I have this huge stack of his work in here. I've got every Mad magazine that he ever put anything cool in. I've got compilations. I got this cool Reagan book he did back when Reagan was president. He's just...
Yeah, this would be... Somebody brings up, who was it? Rusty Nails says, any way to get involved with a Mort tribute. You could totally do like a piece of art in his style, or do like the Saturday, who's the guy, Saturday Evening Post artist?
With his daughter's name hidden all over the place.
Not Hirschfeld.
Oh, not Hirschfeld.
Not the character guy, but the guy who did all the stuff for the Saturday Evening Post. Norman Rockwell.
Oh, Norman
Rockwell.
Rockwell.
He did that.
Yeah.
Somebody did a tribute to him where they had that famous Norman Rockwell where he's drawing himself, like he's looking in the mirror, but he's got a self-portrait thing that he's working on. You could do something along those lines where you're painting a Mort Drucker style piece of art, but it's your style around it to say this is Scott Johnson doing.
I may do something like that because I really, oh man, that's just hasn't quite sunk in yet. Okay, all right, we are going to take a bit of a break, and when we come back, my sister will be here, and we're going to talk about the silver linings of this particular lockdown. There are some, it turns out, and so that'll be a thing. You know what we'll do? Carter just said this in text, and she's right. We'll do a stream, an art stream, and sort of
tribute stream,
and talk about his stuff and why it was so influential to me, and probably pass some of this down to her, as far as I can tell. Anyway, all right, so let's do that. Brian, do you have a song that we can take a break with?
And Carter, if you're listening, figure out some point in the next couple of weeks to randomly text your dad and tell him you lost your keys and you can't get into your apartment. And
don't tempt her.
Don't do it right now because he's expecting it. But wait, like 9 days and do it. And
don't tempt her.
Yeah. Dude, I'm about to just brighten your day with some music. This song made me so happy. I listened to it twice this morning. I fell in love with it instantly. This is brand new, a Detroit indie pop duo called Junior Junior. And
I'm on MySpace, I'm on Friendster, and there's a new network called Facebook, which I think is going to be really influential. So I know how to reach young people.
All your neighbors knew how late it was when you went by at your regular dog trot.
This is the morning stream. Brian, Scott never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
No.
Hope. All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. If you were there for the mid part, you saw some cool art from Mort Drucker. Do yourselves a favor and go search for his stuff. He is amazing, and he worked pretty late into his life. There's some really great stuff right up until the time he retired, and that was a bummer day for everybody. But anyway, more on that later. I'll probably do some sort of something.
Quick back announce, by the way, Junior, The Way I Do, coming up from their upcoming album, August and Everything Prior, which I think is a brilliant album title.
I like it. A lot. All right. We're gonna get Wendy up in it. She's gonna be a part of this. She's gonna bring her Thursday magic.
Is she?
Well, it's a great question. but I believe so. Wendy, are you there? I'm getting rings of nothingage.
Mhm.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I see green.
Yeah, I see green. Hi. Hello.
There she is.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you
Yeah,
guys?
doing all right. Are you keeping it all, together there with all the stuff?
I think so. So, I have a lot of candy.
Yeah, you do. Wendy's a candy consumer.
I am, and I really got over my candy thing. I did a whole year without sugar, and it really broke me of a lot of my biological habit.
Yeah.
And I'm re-upping it.
Yeah.
This is the time, bringing it back.
This is kind of I've been off sugar since last fall, and have not significantly cheated. I mean, other than the New Year's Eve creme brulee I had to celebrate New Year's Eve, I've been really, really good at it. And last night I was tempted. Kim had some cake from somebody gave us a cake or something, and I was tempted. I was like, "Oh, cake! I remember that. Hey, we're stuck here. Life is hard. Can we do that now? Like, is it okay for me to just do a bad thing for me now because it's whatever?" And Kim's like, "No, you better not." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't." And so I didn't. But instead, as I told Brian earlier, I ate really hot ramen at about 9:15 in the evening.
That's your candy, is hot ramen.
Yeah, hot ramen, baby. That's what I like.
Hot ramen.
Nutrient dense. Mine is, and I like a cake. You could put a cake in front of me. I'd be like, sure, I'll eat a piece of cake. But you give me like flipping Starburst flavored jelly beans, I'll lose my mind.
Yeah. Teach a woman to buy jelly beans, feed her for a day. Teach her to eat jelly beans.
Yeah.
You're eating for a
It's
life.
gotta be trashy candy. I love trashy candy. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Ugh. So no Toblerone or anything. It's got to be like candy corn or Necco wafers, basically, or your
Okay,
jam.
maybe not Necco wafers, but like I love Boston baked beans. Like who
Oh,
buys those?
I used to love those things. Yeah, those are great.
They're the
Tartan
best.
Timies.
And circus peanuts, that is like a
Oh,
hit, like a
no,
cocaine to
really?
your brain.
Wow.
I know. And especially stale ones.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I know, I'm trashy. I'm admitting.
No,
to the
it's
whole
okay
world.
because when Wendy, so nobody knows this, but when Wendy eventually in her late 90s passes away, her children and her grandchildren can reap the benefits of all the gold teeth you have from all
Absolutely.
of your,
Harvest them, everybody.
we were getting Wendy and I got some gold teeth back in the day because that was still a thing when we were in our teens. So thanks,
And it
dentist.
helped that our mom worked for a dentist who, like, it was his hobby to put gold teeth in. So I think he always was like, ooh,
Yeah.
those Johnsons never brush. Come
Yeah.
on in. Let's,
I have let me pull from the Johnson stash of replacement teeth, and we'll just get you fixed right
Oh,
now.
the chat room actually Icor brings up a good point. How do you feel about Peeps? Where are you with the Peeps?
See, I don't like Peeps. I don't necessarily like marshmallow.
Just the bird version of circus peanuts.
I know, right? Except circus peanuts.
The aviary circus peanuts is what
It's
they are.
texture, people. Texture. It's why I can't eat tomatoes.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know what? Because a Peep is a weird, crunchy kind of little little chunks of sugar in it.
Like sugar granules, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if
Not
I
a fan
like
either.
blew it up giant in a microwave and it burnt crisped up in a different way, I could eat a Peep. But
Yeah.
other than that,
You
no.
could eat a Peep. That
I
sounds like
could
fun.
eat a
Eat a Peep. That should be their slogan. Okay, one final note before we get to the business here at hand, and that is that I didn't know your son Abe was in the fantastic new Pixar movie Onward. He's basically the main star of Onward, and I wanted to congratulate him for his fine portrayal.
He's done real well with
Yeah,
that. He hasn't even watched it. We tried to get him to watch it with us, and he was like, I don't want to.
Really?
But
Oh.
turns out, when you told me that, I said, hey, Scott thinks you seem like that main kid. And he goes, oh, yeah, people at school told me that. I'm like, what? I just don't see it, but maybe
That's because you're his mom. It's different when you're the
I
mom.
mean, the poofy hair, I guess. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but he's just kind of a sweet soul, a little bit of a
Kinda chill.
soft soul. Yeah, it's a good. That thing is delightful and wonderful, and I want to watch it again. I really liked it.
Cute show.
All right, let's get to. Oh, you know what really got me though is the dad stuff in it. That really. Got
I
me.
know, of course.
If you've lost your parent, or you have a sibling that you've kind of clashed with a little bit, but then you find a happy place. For example, let's say earlier in your life you chased one of them down with a cold soldering iron and told them it was hot, for example. and then later in life you have a great relationship. It's kind of like that. Well, then this thing will appeal to you, even if it's not brothers, if it's not sisters, even if you're an only child like Brian here. You'll find something in this thing. You're just gonna love it, and you're gonna cry, and it's gonna feel great during this weird time. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go watch it.
I should play this. Sorry, here's this.
Something wrong, Batman? Has anybody seen Wendy?
No, I want divorce.
All right, see, that one's holding up.
That is the best combo right there. I love that.
All right, so
I mean, do you have any where I sound?
no, I don't think
no.
I don't capture things where you're normal. Are you kidding?
All right.
Yeah, I don't think to, because you're talking normal now, for example, and I wouldn't go
Right.
back and try to select that out. I would go back and get the weird stuff. So that's just the way this goes. So anyway, hey, yesterday you and I talked and we said, hey, what if we talked about silver linings a little bit today? And I like that idea a lot. What silver linings are people finding during this time? And I put it out there that we were looking for people's silver linings as well, so that we could talk a little bit about not just ours but theirs. And we got a ton of feedback.
Awesome. Okay, don't reveal anything yet, because I want to say something.
Okay, go
first.
for it. Give us the preface here.
This is really, 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 really important.
Okay.
Is and I think as a species with social media, it's a very it's an insight. If we all had, man, would it change everything? Which is that your feelings matter just as much as anyone's feelings, right? And so this sort of competitive, who's grieving the right way, or who's, I don't know, social distancing the best, or what? It's like a competitive, weird thing that also we do a little bit with our own feelings, which is like minimizing my feelings because someone else has it so much worse.
Right.
And so that's a thing. Okay. So as we talk about silver linings today, they need to be probably really simple. Maybe someone has an awesome silver lining, like, oh, you know what? I own Clorox wipes. I'm doing awesome, or whatever.
Right.
Sure. Have fun with those. But like generally, these are going to be pretty small things. And it leads to the most important things. So there is no shortage of you having your own feelings and that they matter, because everyone matters and your feelings matter. Maybe don't cry about it on social media if it's something like you miss getting your pedicures. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we want to hear. So just like easy does it.
Let's keep that one inside.
Yeah.
But I do
just
miss
share
my
it.
pedicures.
Share it with your other friends who love pedicures, right? But just don't tell everybody. Also, there's this part, and this is the point of doing today's show the way it is there has to be a practice for you to balance your mental health ultimately when the world has gotten really small, right? On one hand, it's bigger than ever, and on the other, it's smaller than ever, because you're literally in your own space with just your own people or animals or by yourself. And it's like getting real with your relationship with yourself and getting real with your relationship with others. And so to sort of balance a little bit of what maybe negativity is going to naturally occur is this very powerful, and man, do we have all the studies to back this up, of just finding things to be grateful for. And they need to be small, because if it doesn't work to say, I'm grateful for running water once a year, and then I don't think about anything I'm grateful for, I'm not building any resiliency. And we know some cool stuff about gratitude is that you literally have higher immunity if you are regularly expressing gratitude and feeling it and noting the things that are awesome and good, and as small as they can be. They don't have to be big, but a regular practice. And the studies are mainly this: you write down 3 things a day you're grateful for.
Yep.
That is it. And we improve your immunity. You're more likely to exercise because of that, which is weird, but true. Maybe it's because you're grateful for your body in some ways you're thinking about. I don't know. So more likely to sleep better, exercise more, your immunity is improved. Your general outlook on anything is just more positive.
So that probably tied into that whole
power.
lowering your stress increases your immune response, that sort of thing. That's all tied to that. I would guess.
Yes,
yeah.
You're lowering your cortisol, and I think I feel like I talked about this on the show, maybe not, but this was months and months ago. Lots of stressful things were happening. This was pre-pandemic, normal life stress, and this and that, and we were Adam and I were kind of listing some stuff that was like, wah! And then I said, okay, hold on. I do this for a living. I should stop us.
Right.
And I said, okay, let's just list as many things we can think of that we're grateful for. And I'm like, I know this is cheesy, but just go with it. And by doing that and by getting very small and very specific, it's like I went to sleep instantly after that. I was totally chill and just feeling like I could not be more lucky. Like, wow, how is my life so good? When 20 minutes ago, it was listing all the bad things, right? And it's hard to do this. This doesn't come to a lot of people naturally. And that's why your best bet is to build a practice of doing it. So it would be 3 things you write down a day. Making yourself do that can do, the outcomes are awesome. So we're going to do a little of that together. We're going to process a little silver lining together. I'm excited people have some options to share. This will be great.
Yeah.
So it doesn't dismiss that some people are dying. It doesn't dismiss that you're going to lose your job. There's still all the crap.
Right.
But this is, we're going to practice.
Well, we talked about that last week a little bit, right? We hopefully people will remember that. We talked about that phase of this, which is that feeling of guilt you get because your worry is that I can't go to the bar anymore. Whereas someone else's worry is I've been quarantined from my wife who's pregnant and could give birth any day. She's also got the disease and also may not make it, but I can't see her. And if she does pass away, the best we can do is a walkie-talkie or, you know what I mean? Like there's people in worse situations, but we talked about this and we talked about that guilt and hopefully people remember that because we're not going to go through it all over again. We're now to the point where all your feelings matter and it's a matter of context and you're experiencing what you're experiencing and other people are experiencing what they're experiencing. You don't have to be competitive about it for this conversation, including these silver linings. So there you go. Disclaimer, I guess. Do you want me to read some of these? You want to hear what
read
people
some, or
came up
you guys share, but let's each of us share one and then you can read some of them.
All right, Brian, do you have one? Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to start with one real quick because it's just popped in my head. That is dumb. See, look, I'm even minimizing it. But anyway, I'm happy about it. And that is because everything is crazy. There's just a built-in understanding that we need more time for certain things. So my licensing requirements are due at the end of this summer. And I have 2 states that I have to do all of the hours for, which is double the work and hard. It's hard to get the regular one done. And I have some extension on that. And I'm so thrilled about it. I was like, I will never make it. And then the pandemic came and I'm like, oh, I might make it. Yeah. So it's dumb. And yet it really has helped me.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's a that's a
stupid,
great one.
But silver lining.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Brian, do you have one that pops up in your head?
Well, I was going to say the IRS extension too is kind of nice, but no, I'm noticing that when I'm out on the path, people like almost across the board. It used to be the other cyclists would be friendly and you'd kind of get a wave when you pass another cyclist. And then the pedestrians would be like, meh, they'd just kind of shrug you off. They'd go to the side, but they'd shrug you off. But everyone's saying, thanks, have a good day, stuff like that as you pass. And it's really cool. It's unfortunate that it takes something like this to kind of bring folks together, but you look at it as a positive and it's like, all right, this is really cool. This is what we should be doing in a time like this is just being friendly to everybody we see because we don't see that many people right now.
Right. That's a good one. I like that. And I've noticed that as well.
I would throw some out there with that. And maybe it's just me, but I feel like when because it's a lot of dog walking and a lot of neighbors, it's crowded on our streets now.
Yeah.
We're 6 feet apart, but you are passing someone all the time. And it's like this feeling of I'm saying, hey, good morning, or how are you? But what I'm really saying is like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is, right? Yeah, it's kind of an underlying
is everyone okay?
Thumbs up, good, thumbs up, we good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It's very unifying.
Yeah, I've seen similar things here. Okay, so for me, I guess it's more like Wendy's, although it's kind of weird in my own way. So, 3-4 years ago, I was in the middle of a horrendous, awful gut situation. My guts were all effed up, just messed up and weird. And I couldn't eat the things I wanted to eat. And things were setting me off like crazy. And I was going to a bunch of doctors and talking to them all about different things and getting different advice. And nothing ever seemed to work. And they were doing tests and all this stuff. and nobody was sure what it was. I mean, there was some preliminary diagnosis, and diverticulitis was part of that, but there was something else going on, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. So after all of that, and the dumb, not dumb, it's a life-saving procedure, but the colonoscopy and all of that stuff, finally found a regimen and a situation that worked for me, and the doctor who kind of knew where I needed to go with it, and it worked. And I found myself this week, in fact, going, man, it sure feels good not to have to worry about that like I used to have to. Like, I just don't have to worry about it. I don't have the triggers anymore. I can go. I won't go into huge details about what the regimen is, but it worked for me. It's basically, it basically comes down to this: a higher fiber, better diet. That's it. Mm-hmm. And it was enough in the right balance to kind of fix that to the point that it's just not an issue. And I can't imagine with all this going on where you want to try your very best not to have to go to the doctor during all of this to A, add to the load, or B, expose yourself to the virus and therefore spread it and everything else. It's nice to know that part of me is in check. And it's a very basic, physical thing, but man, am I glad that's not a thing. It used to be every day, many times a day, I'm doubled over in pain, or I've got a dull ache I can't explain, or it's messing me up in the bathroom department, or whatever it is. That's a good
we'd
time.
have to miss shows every once in a while because you were having a flare up.
Yeah, flare-ups sucked, man. They were the worst.
Really bad.
And it would just be the hunch me over, just about knock me off my everything for a day kind of stuff. And I don't have to deal with it anymore because I figured it out and I'm taking care of it. But also, it's just in a really good place right now. And if this was 3 years ago and this was all happening, it'd be way worse for me, both psychologically and physically, than this is now. So I'm grateful for that. Mm-hmm. I'm putting that on our list there, Wendy.
Good. Put it down. Also, real quick, I just thought of one. Did you know you can put tater tots in a waffle iron?
Yes, that's a thing you can do. Make a little
so
potato.
I'm learning things. You probably shouldn't do that, Scott, but for the rest of us, it's a good idea.
Oh, I don't know. I can do a tater tot here and there. That sounds all right. Little potato
The best
cakes.
thing is taking strips of bacon.
Mm-hmm.
You do strips of bacon, put them across the waffle iron, and then you put your waffle batter on top of that and cook it, and the bacon crisps up into the waffle. And it's
is it raw bacon do you start with, or is it already cooked? It's raw.
Slightly cooked bacon. You can't, because it needs a little bit more
It would
time.
take
but
time.
But not crisped up. Well, I mean, you put it in a griddle for like 2 minutes on each side, just enough to get it.
Just some firmness.
Yeah.
Just some firmness.
You can
Then
get
you put it
that kind at the store. Kim always gets that is already sort of cooked, and then you
we get that from what's it called? Schwann's.
Oh yeah, Schwann's has that. That's right. Schwann's.
Okay.
Okay. One quick tiny thing I almost forgot to say, Wendy. If this gives you any kind of PTSD about her upbringing, but Kim made kimchi yesterday. A huge batch of it, our own, like homemade. In fact, it's fermenting right now on the counter, just sitting there bubbling and getting all gross. It's so good though. Oh my gosh.
Here's the thing. I love kimchi now. What the PTSD is the smell of Matt after eating kimchi in his room. Like, did you ever open the door to his room?
It was horrible. He stunk.
Heaven.
Like he stunk. Yeah.
But
yeah.
That we missed the boat. We could have been eating that our whole lives. It was so good.
It was so good. When I was a kid, I thought it was the worst thing ever, but yeah. All right. You want me to
Back
read
to
one
silver
of these?
linings. Tiger King.
Lining.
Another silver
yes.
lining of COVID.
Yes, Tiger King, and everyone's watching Tiger King. All right, we got a bunch of these. Let me read you one of these. Let's see. I'm kind of reviewing these as we go, so hopefully these are all good. Here's one. This is from Tina. I don't know if this is your Tina or not, Brian. I don't know.
Probably not. But,
Says silver lining of COVID lockdown: the ability to spend time with my favorite person. I don't know. It might be her.
That's definitely not Tina.
Oh.
Definitely not my Tina.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, guilt-free hanging at home, lounging around, and being able to slow down the fast pace of life. It's been a really nice not having a packed schedule. Smiley face. I don't know. That still might be your Tina. I'm gonna say it's possible.
No, because my Tina actually still has to go out every once in a while and interview subjects for security clearances because there's some stuff that you legally can't do over the phone.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Now here's one that's going to vary depending on who you are and the temperament of your children, okay? Because I know that this is going to sound to some people like, oh, that sounds like a paradise at your house. But anyway, this one says, the biggest silver lining for me has been given us the rare opportunity to spend actual quality time with our kids. We have nowhere to go, nowhere to be, and we are all living here now and living in the now, something that is rare with the hustle and bustle of ordinary life. I'm investing in a bike, and my 7-year-old and I are going to start riding Oppa Ibbett style. Oppa Ibbett style, he wrote it in that.
Oppa Ibbett style.
There you go. And he says, I can even take my 4-year-old daughter on the back with me. We can't control what is happening, but we can control the narrative. I want our kids to look back on this and remember all the fun stuff we did, not the virus. So that's a good one, right? But it's also going to clash with people where their kids are harder, or some families have kids with special needs that being cooped up like this is just going to exacerbate their those needs and that sort of thing. So I don't know. How do you square that one? You think that's, I mean,
you don't square it because everyone's living their own life and has their own. That's what we're doing today.
All right. So that's a good point. It's a good point. Here's another one. Louise, she's from Australia, says, silver lining, saving money on not having to buy clothes for events and not spending money on activities other than the odd food delivery order. Also saving on petrol, obviously in a different part of the world, and public transport costs to work. Love listening to you guys. Shout out to my husband, Morris, who just got hooked on you all these years later. Thanks, Honey Bunch. Stay safe. I like that one also. Like, we've used less than a quarter of a tank in a month.
Yeah.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, we should drive to make sure the car works.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want it to get atrophied, right? Not work again.
Adam has an electric car, and we drove it last night to go to the grocery store, and it was kind of like hiccuping a little. We're like, this isn't good.
Just choking on its electricity
or
something.
Run it some more. I don't know. Yeah.
What is his car? I didn't know he had an electric. What is it?
Yeah, it's really manly. Have you guys heard of the Nissan Leaf?
Oh, the Leaf. Yeah, the Leaf. Very manly. No, I admit I've been tempted by the Leaf. I think that one's a cool one of all the electric options that are affordable.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's not like it weighs a pound and makes no noise, and it's like on the winter Minnesota roads. I'm not sure it's the best fit, but it is. It's been great.
Yeah,
it's been great.
All right. Well.
So saving a lot of money. I mean, I got so many refunds, and it made me realize, like, wow, I don't pay attention sometimes. Like, a kid, suddenly I had a refund. I'm like, wait, what? I don't remember doing that. And it was like a kid thing, like there's always something to pay for with a kid. And anyway, so it's strange.
Here's a pretty good one that I think all of us can relate to, because I think we've all mentioned something like this. Brian's making bread. Kim's making kimchi. Wendy, are you baking anything cool, or is it just
tater tot waffles?
Yeah, tater tot waffles. Did I not hear that? Oh my gosh! All right, this is from Kayla. It says, COVID silver lining. My husband and I have always enjoyed cooking, but now we're trying even more recipes. We challenged ourselves this week to eat around Epcot and do different countries' dish styles every night with supplies that we already have. Yeah, and they're doing it with stuff they already have, which is pretty cool. It says, it's been fun for both of us and encouraged new recipes we may not have tried otherwise, like Norwegian Serencater cookies. Don't know what that is.
I don't know what those are.
Homemade ramen and German potato pancakes. Speaking of pancakes, so. But you see this a lot. Like, freaking sourdough starters is the hot new term everywhere. Everybody's doing it.
It totally is, yeah. All of a sudden, Crazy Neighbors doing sourdough starters, Nicole and Mark.
There's a house up the road that has pinned to their tree multiple bags of starters with a sign that says, hey, any neighbors, if you're looking for sourdough starters, please take one. And they're just like sharing their starter. It's so weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, okay. This leads to this thing I've been thinking about, like, and you've heard lots of people over history say this same thing, like, stuff like this brings out the best in some and the worst in others, right? And I think about, like, the impulse to go buy a bunch of guns for first-time gun owners, right? Like, a ton of people just put a weapon in their house when they probably should have no business owning one because they have no training, right? And you've escalated the strain. And I mean, I have reasons with statistics that guns are just the worst possible thing to have around. Yeah. And, like all sorts of, there's an impulse there that I understand. I don't it's not that I'm critical of it, but I can get it. But I also think, really? Because here's the skill set currently necessary. It's called cooking.
Yeah.
It's called looking in a pantry, coming up with ideas. It's called
Right.
sewing your own mask. I mean, it's the most homemakey time of all of history. And someone, I can't remember who said this, but it's really true. It's like the very fundamentals of society we really don't value very much, which is keeping a child feeling safe and loved and educated, teachers, homemaking skills, cooking, menu planning, like stuff that's just seen as whatever are actually the hot new skill set that we really need. Like, I don't know. I find that fascinating that this is, it's just so basic, right? And it's on one hand really fun, and how we all have to be forced to find it fun is just, it's a weird time.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's also, we keep talking about how glad we are that the cities are clear of pollution and, this sort of thing. And it's good to see that we can have that quick of an impact if we pull back some. Brian said, hey, who knows, maybe certain businesses will see how well it worked when people worked from home and it cut down on that stuff in incremental ways. Even when things return to normal, maybe that can be part of the new normal. The other thing I was thinking about the other day was the what was I going to just say? I had a thing. It was the thing about the pollution. What was I going to say? I forgot now.
Was it that in India you can see I forgot which city it is. Anyway, they can see
a bunch like that.
You can finally see.
Yeah, for the first time.
Yeah,
Like,
go if you can. I don't know what you search for to find these. I saw them in a news article, but you can find those photos. I was talking to Brian yesterday about it, but where you can grab it in the middle with your mouse and move back and forth.
Slide them, the before and after.
And it's shocking.
It is shocking.
The difference. I know what it was. So that because it has to do with web stuff. We were talking on DTNS yesterday that app usage is way down, but website usage is way up. So, for example, YouTube had a big uptick, but not from phones, from desktops. So that's weird. That's just weird incremental data about, well, if you're stuck at home and you're looking for a better visual experience, you would rather see it on a larger screen. So that makes sense.
Sure.
People are like, oh, we'll use the notebook or the PC or whatever. But in the case of apps and stuff, you're seeing people using their browsers on their phone and going to local news sites and not using the chat app that they're always stuck in or whatever. Now, there's certain things that haven't slowed down at all. We were talking about TikTok earlier. That thing is like keeping kids occupied. Like that is their Netflix binge pattern. It's, they don't want to.
And tell me your thoughts on this real quick. Abe has not once looked at Snapchat, which is partly because I control it because that is a cesspool. And so it's on my phone. He can use it whenever he wants. He just has to ask me. And it means he uses it less because it's my phone and I need it back or whatever, right? Like that was the compromise. But he has not asked a single time. And I finally said, dude, what is up? Do you want to use my phone? You can have it for like 3 hours. Go for it. He's like, you know what? We ran out of stuff to talk about. And I was like, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So they text and there's phone calls more. And there's just some different teenage behavior that I did not expect.
Oh, that was the other thing is that the phone is back, man. Like people are talking on their phones and more than they have in years. Because usually, even I'm the first to admit this. My phone has never been a talking device primarily. It's there for my kids and my wife to get a hold of me quickly. But if it's a number I don't recognize, or even if it's someone I know I need to call, I'll let that thing go because I know I'm just going to be talking to them later on Skype or something else anyway for a meeting. Like I don't call people on my phone, but now doing it all the time. I'm calling mom, I'm calling the kids every day. We're talking to people and they're calling me instead of texting where it used to be just a quick text, get it over with or whatever.
Which think about that for a second. That we talk about the disconnection we have experienced because technology there's a piece to it, right? Which is I don't actually have to connect with you. I can get the information exchange quickly this way. It's at my convenience. Right. I mean, I'm all about that, honestly, right? But then when we actually want to connect, here's this thing we have dropped. We now need in order to connect. It's like the science backwards. So,
yeah, it's really crazy. J.K. Grammer, who's a regular in our community, had a nice one. He says, my silver linings are that my parents literally live just a few doors down from me here in Houston. This lets us visit them on Sunday, have lunch, watch movies together. And since we visit so constantly, I'm still able to visit them during this pandemic. It's also great to go and get groceries and get everything else they need, so that keeps them safe. So he does a little bit of runs that stuff for them. He goes on to say, also, I really have to say that having Frog Pants podcast to listen to and to be in the Tadpole and everything has really helped with the stress levels. The whole community that you guys have brought together is just an amazing group of caring people that I'm proud to be a part of. Lots of love and hugs to everyone. That's nice. So I think and we got a few of those where people are like, oh, if I didn't have this show every day, I don't know what I'd do, or,
And it goes the same for you and I, is that if we didn't have this show every day, this just helps us as much as it helps you. So
we're changing it to Catharsis, Morning Catharsis with Scott and
CMS.
Okay, I have one.
Okay.
Can I tell you the craziest thing happened, and I can't believe I forgot until just now. But it is okay. So, and I would love anyone want to share their version of this if it's happened. But there's like the general feeling all the time, the monotony of sort of, we do the same thing. The weekend's exactly the same as the weekdays. There's like not a big blip of, maybe you read some news and you feel worse, right? There's the downward trend of that, but maybe like really joyous things. You have to seek it out, et cetera. Anyway, so this happens it was not last night, the night before. So Allie does not like to watch TV shows with Abe anywhere near her. So getting the two of them in the same room is always hilarious and hard because they don't really like each other. So we got them both to watch Community with us. Community, look at it, bringing us all together. Anyway, so we're watching the show, and it was the first time she'd stayed up that late with us, and we were like, okay, fine, go to bed. She goes to bed. She comes back upstairs and says, hey, and she's pretty chill about it, but she goes, there is something brown on my floor.
Okay.
And I am sure that the dog has pooped in her room.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh,
is it
God.
poop?
Yeah.
And I was like, is it dog poo? And she goes, no, I think it's alive. And I'm like, what?
Weird.
And we're just like, okay.
Sentient poop.
I know, it's freaky. And she just couldn't really tell what it was. And she was acting so calm. I didn't realize later till it actually really freaked her out, but she was just very calm. So I was like, okay, Adam, you go look. I don't want to see whatever it is. I just don't want to even see it.
Yeah.
So Adam comes back upstairs. He's like, there is a copperhead snake on her floor.
Whoa!
Oh my God. Jeez.
And he's running out to get a stick. And I'm like, what? We live in Minnesota. Like, it's just barely 50 degrees. How is this happening?
Wow.
So anyway, he goes back down there, and it was coming out of some clothes or whatever. He just had like probably a hallucination or something, because guess what it was?
Oh, what?
It was Abe's snake that went missing in November. And trust me, it's not a copperhead. It's actually pretty tiny, but
Good. Yeah.
he was striking because, of course, she's woken up, I guess. Was she hybrid? We don't know, but she hadn't eaten for 5 months.
Yeah.
So she was a little freaked out. Anyway, it was the most exciting. I can't even do it because this is the cutest snake, you guys. I need to send a picture. Her eyes sparkle. She's like a lovely, amazing snake, which sounds insane. But anyway.
The most pretty snake.
We were like,
You've never
and it was
seen
like
one
a
like it.
miracle. We kept going, it's a pandemic miracle.
Yeah.
And she somehow lived and somehow came out in Allie's room, probably looking for some leftover. She always steals Nutella, probably somewhere in a jar. I don't know. We don't know how this happened. And Abe had to like go in the other room and sob. Like, it was like
Wow.
his favorite thing in the world. He was so sad. And she just came back. I mean, it was magic. It was like, and I think at any other normal time, we'd be like, wow, that's super cool. And it was like, everyone, we're going to be okay. I was so stupid, but it was just so much emotion.
There
around
is
this
something
table.
about that. Yeah. I think that's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I know snakes can survive and they're like, do that and stuff. But
Yeah.
for
They can
us,
go,
it was
they can go a long time without eating, but,
crazy.
it's still like I couldn't tell you. Well, you probably know, but I lost a bunch of gerbils when we were kids in the house. They never showed up again. In fact, you always knew when one wasn't coming back because about 2 months
Snake
later,
sure was well fed.
yeah, about 2 months later, the house would smell like a corpse, and you'd be like, "What is
Yeah.
that?" And it died in the vents or something. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that story.
that was a definitely silver lining of the pandemic. I honestly think it's because she wasn't in her room And the first night ever, we got her out of her room later that night. Like she thought it was safe. Twinkie is her name. Twinkie thought it was safe to come out.
Twinkie.
So we caught her.
The name of the thing is Twinkie. All right, I like it.
She's so cute.
Hey, just like a Twinkie, it lasts forever. It lives through all sorts of stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Agreed.
Well done.
Indestructible.
All right, got
And
one.
Adam's like, listen, I grew up in the South. I've seen copperheads. I just got scared. Sorry.
Yeah. Here's a good one from. I'll read this last one here from. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, here we go. This is one. So I like this one because it's in the face of actually something that's not great. Copperbolt wrote in and says, I've been laid off, which sucks. However, I'm spending a ton of time connecting with my teenage daughter, which just wasn't happening when I was working. The other day, we made an apple pie from scratch. We made masks together, and I taught her to sew. Recently decided to do a C25K training together. I don't know what that is. That's probably a workout thing. In her downtime, she is finally reading the Harry Potter books. All in all, I am going to take this as a win. So that's the other thing, right? Like, I don't know. It seems like the common thread can be family has a way of, I don't know, or this sort of stuff has a way of making family a more prominent part of your life. Those closest to you matter more. That's a silver lining in its own right.
Everyone's saying couch to 5K.
Oh, couch to 5K. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. That's kind of cool. I like that.
That is cool. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody for saying those, and we get a few others, but they're long-ish. But we'll save them for a different discussion. But those are great. It's good to hear that people are finding, silver linings. I know that there are people listening to us. We had somebody yesterday with our song dedication that has experienced some incredible loss during this, and I know that those people are there. I think the whole point of today is to say, get the linings as silver as they can be where you can get them.
Yeah, and the power of experiencing gratitude actually makes you more generous to those around you. So when we act like, well, you need to be more sad for me because my loss is bigger, if you don't start with your own grief and then your own gratitude, you are less able to then be there for that person, right? And to have the empathy. So it really just has to go in order. It's, again, back to our airplane analogy with the oxygen. If you don't have the oxygen because you've treated yourself and your own grief well, and then you've recognized all the beauty in your life or consistently practiced trying to find the beauty in your life, you're less capable to be abundant and open and helpful and kind. So it really is this sort of counterintuitive thing. You have to do it in the right direction.
Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the whole write it down thing because that's usually what it takes. Yeah, 3 of those a day. Do you do them all at once or do you do them spread out? Does it matter?
I think it doesn't matter, but I think it's kind of nice to sit down and force it all at once because there's big things. You're just like, I'm grateful for my family. Well, guess what? You can't write that the next day.
Yeah.
You got to be creative. So maybe I like this specific.
Maybe be more specific, right? So you could use that one for a few days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why there's things I always say running water because there are moments where I am just genuinely overwhelmed that water comes out of my tap. And I just have to let it. And this is the point too, right? Is you really feel it. This isn't simply I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my dog. You maybe get specific so you can feel it. Right. And so small, tiny, specific things, 3 a day. It's a good challenge. We should each do it for the next week, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All 3 of us.
I'll do it.
Anyone listening, write 3 things every day.
Yeah.
If we were doing this properly, we'd all study you before and after, but I think we'll just take the benefit that'll come from doing this. But 3 things a day.
Okay. I like that. We'll report back next week and see, give an honest accounting for how it changed things for us.
Let's do that.
All right. Cool. Well done. Don't forget to check out realsteps.org. Anything you want to say about that?
We've started and we've got going. We have a bunch of your people.
Who are you calling my people?
Are involved and they're awesome. Such good folks. Anyway, so it's super fun and we're starting. It just started Monday and we're getting going.
Awesome.
And I'm doing it the same time they are.
Yeah.
And I am learning that I have a problem.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So it turns out I need real steps just as much as anyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
That shug. You got to work on that shug, all that shug intake.
Shug.
Yep, take
Straight
in the
to
shug.
the vein. Boston baked beans. You know what else I like? That's totally gross. What are those?
Oh no.
They like rip your teeth right out. What are they called?
Oh, jujube or not jujubes?
Dots? You like dots?
I do love dots.
Oh.
Anything gross.
Dots
I
will
like, but
destroy your mouth. They will rip
yeah, they
your...
will. But the one I'm thinking of, they make nerds that are big. Have you had those?
Yeah, they're
had a
good.
big
They
nerd.
are good, actually. I had those before in my life before I had big nerds. They were good.
The whole community of big nerds.
Yeah.
Big nerds. They're delicious. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, and Dollar Ranchers will take your teeth out too. Be careful. All right.
Yeah.
Wendy Ann Dunford, sorry, full name. She is also on Instagram at Wendy Dunford. Check her out there. Wendy, have a great week. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
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 All right. Brian.
Good stuff. Yes, sir.
We did it. Hey, tonight or tomorrow, TMS PM for patrons. That's right. You'll get a live link in the Patreon site. That's how that works. And Dan will be here. So Dan, the tabletop man, swooping in for a visit.
Yeah, I've got some games I want to ask him about because there was a great article that I saw on Engadget yesterday or day before about board games that incorporate apps that go with them.
Yeah.
And there were a few here that sounded really good. And Clank was one of the ones he talked about a couple weeks ago. That's like, oh, Clank, that looks really cool. I'm wondering about some of these other ones. Maybe I'll send him the article so he can look at it and see if it's something he wants to talk about.
Yeah, I'm curious about just the general. I feel like it's come up before too, but just the general feeling that the board gaming community has toward the idea of integrating, apps and phones and devices into their play. I think that's super interesting. Because at some point like, when does it stop being? It's less of a board game and more of a digital game, or the other way around. Like that's
this is one where it's thing. Like you still play the board game, but it's supported by like One Night Werewolf. Yeah. You can play the game without the app adding onto it, but the app like just plays this little thing that says, "All right, now the werewolves will open their eyes."
Yeah.
Werewolves, close your eyes. Now the.
Yeah, Stoics for Real says it's a little controversial currently, but I agree that it'll be a fun discussion. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. This weekend, we're doing 2012 for FilmSack, the disaster film 2012, which some say is a disaster in its own right. But
exactly, the disaster to film.
Yeah, but we have a lot of stuff to say about it. We have a little special thing we're going to play on that, so I would recommend highly listening to it. That'll be this weekend. Also, There Will Be Dungeons on Sunday. We'll be on like normal. And also, we're trying to work out a makeup time for Core. We had to cancel last night due to some schedule stuff, but we're working on that. So we'll let you guys know. It won't be tonight because I got other stuff, but it may be Saturday sometime or something. We're trying to get an episode in before the weekend. We'll let you know. Brian, anything on your end that you wanted to make sure to?
I've got nothing on my end.
Nothing on your end?
No, I take that back. Right before we do TMS PM, I do a Guess the Connection. So it's a chance to win some prizes and listen to 6 cover songs and figure out the hidden connection that they all share.
Very nice.
So that's tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. So an hour before TMS PM. That gives me a chance to do the show, shower, get the stink of Coverville off of me, and then be ready for TMS PM right after.
That's right. Reminder to the fine folks listening: if you are not already a member of the Patreon, then you don't know the advantages. There's all kinds of cool stuff. You get rad things in the mail. You get cool digital rewards. You get a episode on Fridays that you don't get any other way. All kinds of cool stuff by becoming a Patreon member at patreon.com/TMS. Get in there. You get your own feed, ad-free version of the show. Got the 5th show a week. I mean, what else can you ask for? It's an amazing thing. Patreon.com/TMS. For everything else, frogpants.com/TMS. All right, let's get out of here. Song from you, please.
I have a song that's going out to Leslie, Logan's mom, Leslie. Get a little choppy there. You want to switch us over to West Coast?
Let's go to Central. We're on West right now.
Or Central.
There we go. Is that better?
Oh, 3 bars now.
Yeah,
Good.
Very good. Yeah. I don't know what's up with the West
Coast.
Coast.
When everybody in California fires up their computer for their Zooms.
I guess so.
Their Zooms.
It's really weird.
Leslie writes, "Hi guys, Logan's mom here. On April 9th, Logan turns lucky number 7. He's obsessed currently with Frozen 2 and loves all the songs. If you could play either Into the Unknown by Panic at the Disco or Lost in the Woods by Weezer, that would make us very happy while the poor kid is quarantined on his birthday. Thanks and happy 7th birthday, Logan.
Oh.
You know, if I were out there, I would arrange a parade to drive by their house for Logan's birthday, and we'd all honk and.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. I cannot believe that kid is 7. That's insane.
I know. It's like I only ever see him at BlizzCon. Well, no, I take that back. We've seen him at a Nerdtacular too, but
Sure.
still, it's like we watched him grow through BlizzCons, and we've missed a couple BlizzCons because
That's
of
true. And I remember when he was a baby,
Not
not
because of
walking
that,
yet. Like he was just an infant,
Yeah,
and Kim would
yeah.
hold him, and that's just crazy talk that he's that old. But all right.
that. Totally crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so here is Into the Unknown, performed by Panic at the Disco. Didn't win the Academy Award. It lost to Elton John, but it was a great performance at the Oscars. Here is Panic at the Disco, Into the Unknown.
Do you mean Panic? Is that who you mean? Is Panic? This is.
I
a
mean,
song?
I just mean Panic.
Okay.
They don't have the exclamation point anymore. They
Oh,
should.
Well, maybe they should.
Oh, no, maybe they do.